Hey there, you're very welcome along to this guitar lesson for Sweet Home Alabama by Lynyrd Skynyrd. Here's what we're going to cover. We get our intro. I've left out the fills. We're going to prioritize the chords at the start. That sort of stuff. I will link a sheet if you want to get into the tab reading of that, but we're going to focus on the main chords for the intro. So we got our intro, then we have our verse, the big wheels keep on turning, carry me home to see my kin. Right, then we get our chorus, Sweet Home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. Right, then we have a quick FC as well. That's the main outline of the whole song. To begin, we're going to get into the intro. So let's take a look at that. To get into the intro, I'm going to put a bit of tab up on the screen. So we'll all take a look. Yeah. So we're going to focus on this intro riff first. You'll see 2 zeros, then a 3, 2. Now, if you make a D chord and remove your bottom finger, and that will leave your index and your ring finger still on for a D. That's the 3 and the 2 there in the frets. So what you're about to hear is 0, 0, 3, 2. I'll do it again. And I'm picking that with down, down, up, up. Down, down, up, up. We will talk about how to get that sort of that classic sound you hear in the record in a minute. But first we'll get the notes. 0, 0, 3, 2. What you do after that is you lift off your index, then you get your middle finger and place it on the 3rd fret of the A string. And that gives us the 3 on the A string. And if you look here at the tab, you'll notice that the 3 and that 3 are still here. So the finger you put on for that 3 there, you keep it on for this shape, right? So if I was to do it in shapes, it would look like this. First shape is the D with the bottom finger removed. Second shape, you remove the index, you put your middle finger on 3rd fret of A, and we get that. And you pick. So you're picking the A string twice with downs, then up, up on those 2. Which gives us for our intro, right? Now, the thing to watch with that is how it's played. Now, step 1 is to get the notes. Step 2 then, you could try this little palm mute on only the root notes that you're picking, the 2 zeros. So I have my palm rested, but it's still very aggressive. It goes like that. Like, watch the movement as well. If you hear this, you've gone in too far. If you hear this, you've gone out too much. There's a sweet spot somewhere. Usually I find it's just in the outskirts of the sound hole. So you go. Then finally, you put on, it's like your 4-finger G, just remove your index, and you go, you pick that top string twice. Then you strum the rest of the chord. You go. I'll play the whole line. Now, on the tab, it's written to do that once because the fills come in. All those are stuck in the middle. Since we're not doing the fills, to fill in that space, you could play the chords twice there on the G. So what? You do the D type one once, C one, then twice. Now that's your intro. Again, prioritize the notes first. Then when you feel comfy with those, just add in the palm mute from there. And there are nuances. There's a little like dun 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 dun. But for step one, it's to get that, right? Now, when you're ready for the next part, drop me a comment in the community and I'll add it on, all right? Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at is this. So we got our intro. You'll do that 4 times. And that's the same thing. So when it says intro, DCG, they're speaking about that. Now, if we look at the verse, this one, I would recommend you adopt a pattern similar to the intro. But before I share it, it goes D, C, G, and there's actually 2 Gs, right? Just keep an eye on the ultimate guitar. It leaves out Gs at times. D, C, G, G, D, C, G, G, D, C, G, G, D, C, G, G. It's the same line done 4 times. Now, how do we play that pattern? You go like this. Okay, step 1, the bass rhythm. It's root note, chord. You do that on each chord. The root note on the D is the D string. Strum the rest of the chord. The root note on the C is the A string. Strum the rest of the chord. The root note on G, I'm doing the 4-finger G for this one, is the top string. Like that. So at the very base level, you do that. I am doing C add 9 instead of C. More on that in a while. But C add 9 is basically your 4-finger G with the top 2 fingers moved down a string, right? So that's step 1. And what I generally recommend is practice that on its own. And then if you want to add in some singing over that bass rhythm, that would be the closest thing to doing all downs. That would be it. Now, I'm about to share a more detailed rhythm here. So we get... Okay, what I did was the same as we had before. Like that, I'll do it again. It's just going root, down, up. Now, the thing to watch with that is, if you're familiar with this idea of when we have an up strum that we change to the next chord, that's really what's going on guitar. So watch this. I actually started changing to the next chord in advance. So the fingers lift. Now, that's what's happening here. So you're going root, down, up. Then, now, this is where we'll have strum fills. If you already have a level of strumming with rhythm patterns, it's okay. Make one up yourself. And if you don't, I'll add one in here. So you do this on every second line. So on the first line, you play D, C, G, G regularly on big wheels keep on turning. Second, carry me home to see my kin. Singing songs. Third line is straight. Fourth line has the fill. I misobey me once again at this. Right, so what is that fill? Let's do it. So you go. That's all fine. Now the G. Okay, so instead of doing this, you're going to go. Now, I'm going to write that out on arrows for you, okay? So I'll add that in. But basically it's going to go down, 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 up, down, down. I'll do it again. Down, 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 up, down, down. The thing about this is the The graphics will help, so if you want to pause it just to see it and play along with it, or you'll find it underneath this. But basically, that rhythm goes, it's the root, root, strum, down, up, root, strum. Okay, I'm just saying strum to separate, roots are the top ones. And that fill can be used in a ton of other songs. So that would really help with your... Okay, but in steps. Just make sure we get the root note, the regular bass one done first, then you could add some singing in with it, and then try this nice detailed strum. It's a strum fill, really, okay? So, that's your verse. Your interlude, which on the record sounds like this. And again. Okay, to do that, you're on the regular chord still. And you know, for the interlude, interestingly enough, since there's no singing, and since people would not expect you to break out all the fiddly guitar parts, but there's blank space there where there's unspoken expectations that, okay, we're just doing chords. But if you were to do the strum fills on that section, it keeps everyone's ears entertained, right? People are kind of playing the thing in their head anyways. Or you could go like, I've done this. It's been done. So, that's the interlude. Next up we have verse 2. It's the same. D, C, G, D, C, G. Line 1, you play your regular rhythm. Line 2, you can do your strum fill on the G. Line 4, you can do your strum fill on the G. This brings us to the chorus. The chorus then is the same chords, D, C, G, D, C, G, D, C, G, D, C, G, F, C. Now let's talk about the F, C, because the F, C ties us into the solo. So I'll play the chorus once, and apologies, there we go. I go, sweet home Alabama, where the skies are so blue, fill. Sweet home Alabama. No fill coming here, because Lord, I'm coming. Okay. Let's think about the D, C, G as being normal there. Then D, C, G, F, C. That F, C is placed instead of the second G. So I'll get off the board and we'll take a look. So like in the chorus, you're going to do this. Sweet home Alabama. You're going to do that 3 times. Now on the 4th time, Lord, I'm coming home. You do the root, strum on the G just once. And then you gotta be lightning quick to get from an F to a C. I have only ever played this with the 4-fingered F going to the C. I haven't done the bar chord. So if you don't have the F bar chord, perfect, okay? If you played the 4-fingered F somewhat, excellent. If you've messed around with the F, but you're like, I don't know about that chord, we'll need to get to know it. It's very important for this one. So 4-fingered F is what we need. To make the 4-fingered F, you get a C chord, you move your middle finger down a string, and your pinky tucks up underneath the ring finger. So in terms of frets, you're on the A string, you're on 3rd fret, 3rd fret on the D, 2nd on the string below that, index on 1st fret on string below that. Okay? And this is what you'll hear. Okay? Now, a tip, hug the neck so we do not hear the bottom string. We want it to sound muted like that. Because we're going to go like that. Okay, also used in ho-hey or hey-ho. That's a great one for the, anyways, side song quest there. So that's your F, C. Now, that would be one serious practice point. To practice 4-fingered F, C. You want to get 1 strum on each, and then to dip back and practice the G. know what helps here? Look at my strumming hand. It keeps going. It's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and apologies 1 second. There we go. Okay, that's how you know this is live. Sorry, I would have had to have muted that. Okay, so we get the D, C, G, then F, C. Now we're back to the solo then, the one that goes. That first solo. You're going to play the chords under that, the D, the C, to the G twice. Right, so it's the same again. Now, if we take a look, sorry for the sneezing, I think I'm coming down with something, if I'm right or wrong. The solo, D, C, and G, we get into verse 3, but keep an eye out on verse 3. When I played this in bands in the beginning, this was the one bit that would catch me the most. And the cue thing that I helped myself remember it with, in Birmingham, they love the governor. Once I heard the singer sing that, I was like, uh-oh, that F, C bit is coming here. The bit you had already. So you D, C, G, F, C, like you did up here. So this is how it sounds. In Birmingham, they love the governor. Boo hoo hoo, we all did what we could do. And it's the same from there again. That D in a bracket just means that that's the sound of the D carried over from there. You're still on the same sort of stuff you had for verse 1 and verse 2. Chorus is the same. The only bit to watch is that the FC isn't at the end. So this is a pure straight D, C, G effort 4 times in a row. And watch how it sounds. The second line goes, Sweet Home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you, here I come, Alabama. And then it goes into the second solo. And this is where we have decisions to make. Option 1, you play the D, C, G chords 8 times in a row with no solo. I've done that. I wouldn't recommend it. People start looking around for the electric guitars who they think should have been there. It's too long to go without a solo. So what I'd suggest is this. So if you're going, I'm coming, Alabama, just do 1 round of the D, C, Gs. It's like the interlude at the start. 4th verse. Now muscle shows straight away. It just took care of it. There was a bit of a gap between the singing and now you're into the next section. Now, a little tip here is, speaking of dynamics, if you've been doing our finger picking journey in course, basically we've been speaking about dynamics and playing soft and loud and all the different ranges in that. This is one verse I generally play quieter, right? And before we play it quiet, DCG, DCG all the way. Okay, so same as verse 1, work is done, and we're going, now Muscle shows he's got the swampers, playing super quiet, and they be known to pick a song or two. Yes, we do. That tends to be a place where bands would stop. I learned that the hard way. But if you just stop on 2, so if you go, and they be known to pick a song or two. Yes, we do. Lord, they get. Now, here's the thing. The taps there, I'm just keeping the beat. So I'm going D, maybe known to pick a song. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if you want to practice that stop, you strum 1 G, 2, 3, 4, and bang out that. But be ready to get the D back on time. So like, yes we do. Lord, they get me up. And it's so quiet, so much. Now here we go. They pick me up when I'm feeling blue. Now how about you? Sweet home. And that's where you can build. In musical terms, it's called a crescendo. We'll call it getting louder. On the G. And then we're back into the chorus. That chorus has the FC. Sweet home, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Dun, dun, D, sweet home, Alabama. Now, the outro, and there's a fade out. The outro is another guitar solo. But if I was to finish this without playing with another guitarist, I would go like this. Or if I was playing it at a jam, I'd go, where the skies are so blue and the gun is true, sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Now, okay, what I did there was, I went second last line, sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Just a general wind down of the singing and the playing, and then a really slow FC. And a bit of a trill to end it, right? So that's one option. Yeah, that's the main one I'd use a lot. It's just if you start with the chords and you finish with the chords, it just seems a bit unusual to start with this intro and end with this intro. Right, so quick recap of the song. Okay, let's take a look. So, we started with our intro, with our picking. You do that 4 times, and we said that the palm muting was the sort of icing on top. It's the most thing that sounds like the song, so you might be tempted to go at that first. Trust me, just get the notes first. And then add the fancy stuff. Okay, so we get that 4 times, that's our intro. That's basically the same for our verse, as we said, and it's like there's 2 Gs, right? It's one written, but there's actually 2, okay? D, C, G, that's verse 1. Interlude is the little finicky guitar thing that goes. Okay, we're still doing D, C, G. We spoke about that extra fill at the end with the strum, which I will write out for you. Verse 2, all the same, D, C, G. Chorus, bit to watch. You do the strum once on the G, then you do F, C. So if I go from the second line, sweet home Alabama, there's 2 Gs here, 1 G coming up, 1 G here, then F, C. And when I say 1 G, I'm talking about root note, strum. Then we get into a short solo. I would do that, and I did the fills on the chords there as well, because that filled out the sound. Verse 3, Birmingham, they love the governor. Once you hear about Birmingham or governor, it is time to think about FC. Okay, I've missed that at more gigs than I care to admit in the beginning. Okay, chorus is the same. I just want to check one little nuance here with the chorus. It's taught correctly in the video, but just in case, the FC is done at the end of this chorus because a solo is coming. It's not done at the end of this chorus. There's another solo here. I said I'd suggest we leave it out and just do the interlude chords twice, and then that brings into our quiet verse 4. And then we build up that line at the end into this final chorus at a louder volume using our dynamics as we spoke about. And then, instead of a massive long outro of no guitar solo, what I suggest is just slow it down on the last line. So you go, sweet home Alabama. Here we go. Lord, I'm coming home to you. And by the way, if you're like, I don't know how I feel, Dave, about ending on the F chord and the C chord change. That's a fast change. If I didn't want to do that, I'd go, sweet home Alabama. Then I go, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Just hang on the G, all right? And then finish on the D. The FC is really nice, but just in case, okay? Hope you enjoyed this lesson. I can't wait to see you in the community. Give it a go. Any questions, of course, bring them, okay? Happy to answer. Most of all, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.